What if I told you there was a time in America when teaching a black person to read was a crime? Not just a small crime, a crime that could get you whipped, jailed, or worse. Southern states criminalized black literacy entirely, but black women refused to accept it. They taught in kitchens after midnight, in church pews disguised as prayer, in laundry rooms and back porches. They turned silence into classrooms. They turned fear into resistance. Between 1740 and 1834, 7 southern states passed laws making it illegal for black people to read or write. Why? Because knowledge is power, and those in power were afraid of what would happen if black people gained it. But here's what they didn't expect. Black people didn't stop learning. They went underground. Secret schools began to appear in hidden spaces, out of sight, with someone always watching the door, because if they were caught, there would be consequences. But they kept learning anyway, because they understood something powerful. Education was freedom. Susie King Taylor learned to read illegally in Georgia at secret schools, then became something even more powerful. At just 14 years old, she became one of the first to teach formerly enslaved people openly during the Civil War. Think about that. A girl who had to hide to learn, now standing in the open, teaching others. And she wasn't alone. When slavery ended, thousands stepped forward. Out of the first 12,000 teachers, about 4,000 to 5,000 were black, many of them women. Many of them had been teaching in secret long before the world ever allowed them to. White people asked, how did black people learn so fast? They ignored the truth. The schools weren't the beginning, they were the continuation. Because long before freedom came, learning had already started. In kitchens after midnight, in church pews disguised as prayer, in laundry rooms and back porches, in whispers, in secret. They didn't wait for permission. They built their own classrooms in the shadows. Mothers teaching children, young girls teaching adults, people who were denied education becoming teachers. So when freedom finally came, it didn't start from zero. It revealed something that had already been growing for years. That's how they learned so fast, because they had been learning all along. They tried to make reading illegal, but they couldn't stop a people who understood that knowledge was the key to survival. And to every woman watching this, never underestimate the power of a woman who chooses knowledge over fear. Because when she learns, she doesn't just change her life, she changes generations. So here's the question. Why were they so afraid of black people learning to read? Like, share, and follow ancient stories, because the more we tell these stories, the harder they are to erase.